Oops. Uh-oh. Are you hearing that noise?
No.
There's some construction noise. I got to go over there and find out what's being constructed because everything's fully developed where I am. It's like, why am I hearing all this construction noise? Okay.
No, I don't hear anything.
Live means online?
Yeah, but it's unlisted, so no one's
okay.
going to.
Okay.
I was just wondering if, okay, no, we're good. So basically I'll just ask the question and then we can either talk about it or you can give the answer.
Okay.
And then what I'll do to break it up is I'll just put this up here when we're about to start. So it's easy for me to get Sherry to edit it.
Oh, that hasn't been torn down yet. Oh, great.
Oh, the destruction is just awful.
It's heartbreaking.
Okay, so this is under trusts, number 9. Do unit trusts work? This is number 10. Do unit trusts work? 5, 4, 3.
Hi, it's Lou Brown. I've been asked if unit trusts work. Well, it's interesting that I've been at this game of using trusts since about 1983. And I've learned a ton about trust. It's amazing. And in all this time, this is one of the things that just never comes up. There's a lot of different trusts. One thing to know is there's about 30 different types of trusts out there. Different trusts do different things. So you want to be very clear what you're trying to accomplish in using trusts. Now, one of the trusts I love is a thing called land trusts. And it provides 4 very critical things: privacy, because you can name the trust anything you choose; protection, because basically it separates you from the asset. So anything happens over there with that asset, you as a beneficiary has no personal liability. And probate avoidance. So whenever you put a property into trust, and when I say a property, it could be real estate, or there's a separate kind of trust that I use called a personal property trust. So if it's vehicles, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, bank accounts, CDs, CDs, mobile homes, motor homes, gun collections, coin collection, whatever it might be in your life, those go into personal property trust. So real estate goes in a land trust, personal property goes in those personal property trusts. And what's cool about it is you can create a separate trust for each one. I have a whole course on this, land trust and personal property trust. And in fact, I have a 4-day event training. You can find this at MaximumAssetShield.com, MaximumAssetShield.com. And this will tell you more about the 4-day live training that I do with trust. But there's also a course there that's home study that gives you all the forms and everything you need to know about doing trust yourself, which, by the way, you can. Once you have the right paperwork, you can set up your trusts. You can have it reviewed by an attorney. A lot cheaper to have it reviewed than it is for them to create it. And certainly that is a solution for you. And the final P of using land trusts is that you can have some profits with it as well, because there's a way that you can take over existing financing on property. So if you're looking to own real estate and you don't have mega bucks in the bank that you can pay cash for the property, and you don't want to go to banks and qualify for loans, then one of the ways you can do it is actually to take over existing financing on the property. And you can do that by using trusts. I've got a whole training on that as well. It's called Buying Property Subject to the Existing Financing. So if you'd like to know more about trusts, check us out at MaximumAssetShield.com, and I hope to see you soon. Yeah, baby.
Great. Well done. So I have a question, and it's not on our questions here, but you talked about probates and land trust. So I'm kind of curious. So somebody owns a house. There's no mortgage, no nothing. They're in their 80s, late 80s. They don't want to go through probate because they've experienced it with relatives, like how that.
They don't want their relatives to have to go through probate. Yeah.
Right. So if they did they could do a land trust, and then whoever would be the beneficiary in their will would be the beneficiary in their trust, right?
Automatic. It's the asset passes at the death of the primary beneficiary. It passes to the successor beneficiary. An instant in time, it's now owned by the successor. It does not have to be taken out of trust. You could actually leave that same trust in place. So it's it's the most marvelous entity on the planet, that nobody knows about.
Right. Oh, cool. All right. So number 11 is, how are irrevocable trusts taxed? 5,
Okay.
4, 3.
Hi, it's Lou Brown. I've been asked, how are irrevocable trusts taxed? Well, that's an interesting question because it's an irrevocable trust. What an irrevocable trust is a complex trust. What a complex trust is under the IRS guidelines, it has to file its own tax returns. So instead of a 1040, which is what an individual files, it files a 1041. It looks strangely similar to a 1040, except that it's all of the income relative to that ownership that irrevocable trust has. So there's an opportunity for everyone to be able to take advantage of that wonderful thing called an irrevocable trust. Now there's a trust that I specialize in that's not only the land trust and the personal property trust, which is, let's just say that's the low cost or low entry, easy entry into the trust world. There's a more expensive version that does a lot different things than the land trust and the personal property trust. I call it the elite trust. The elite trust is what you might imagine that the upper echelon, the elites would use. But it's interesting that we can use them too. The average person can use them. And the way I look at it is, if you're paying $16,000 or more in taxes per year, this is definitely something you want to look into. There's so much benefit to using this trust. Now, I do have a special report about this that has some additional information. You can find that at MaximumAssetShield.com/elite. And what also is available to you is, I've got a 4-day live event. You can find out more about that at MaximumAssetShield.com. And I'll teach you all about land trust, personal property trust, and the elite trust as well at that 4-day event. You'll also learn some amazing things about taxes and how in the tax code, there's some amazing discounts, write-offs that most people, including CPAs, don't know anything about. So we reveal those at MaximumAssetShield.com. So check that out, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, baby.
Great. Number 12 is, how are trusts recorded? So 5, 4, 3.
Hi, it's Lou Brown. I've been asked, how are trusts recorded? Well, that's an interesting question, because you can record the entire trust for the public to see, but one of the best and greatest benefits of a trust is it's actually privacy of ownership, meaning the public doesn't know who the beneficiary of the trust is. However, the asset is recorded in the name of the trust. So let's say that you have a home in your own name, and you want to put that in trust. It merely by creating a deed. In some states, it'd be a warranty deed. In other states, it would be a grant deed. You would be deeding out of your name into the trust name. Now, on public record, it shows that it's owned by the trust. Now, by the way, if you are gifting your property to your trust, there is no tax. There is no transfer tax. Now, And so there's no gift tax, no transfer tax, none of those things. So it would only be the cost of recording a deed at your local courthouse to transfer it from your name to your trust name. We're going to teach you all about that. I've got an upcoming 4-day event. It's called MaximumAssetShield.com. And you'll see all about that. Now, that 4-day event, I'm going to cover everything from soup to nuts. You're literally going to bring your deed with you to class, and in class, using the paperwork that we provide to you, you're actually going to be creating your own trust. So there's a real opportunity there for you to learn some amazing things about trusts and what they do, and the fact that most people don't know those things, and the fact that there's nothing in it for attorneys. So they try to take you down a different path, which creates later a thing called probate and a thing called expense, delay, upset, breakdowns, all kinds of family issues when it's done that way, as opposed to using a trust. One of the great things about a trust is if you're named as the primary beneficiary in the trust, at death, it immediately passes to whomever you've named as the heir or heirs of that trust. So instant, no attorneys, no probate, no judges, no delay, no expense, because you were smart enough to do it in advance. So I'd love to teach that to you. It's MaximumAssetShield.com. You'll learn a ton of things about these amazing things called trusts. I hope to see you there. Yeah, baby.
Nice. That's a great sales job on getting into a trust, particularly if you're older.
Super.
Okay, how are trusts taxed? Number 13. And let me just get rid of the banner. 5, 4, 3.
Hi, it's Lou Brown. I've been asked, how are trusts taxed? Well, that's a good question. And the answer is it really depends on what kind of trust it is. If it is a simple trust under IRS code 671 through 678, meaning that it's a flow-through trust, meaning that it flows through to the tax return of the beneficiary. So if you are the beneficiary of the trust, then it flows through to your tax return and you're taxed as you normally would be. There's a different kind of trust called, I call it the elite trust. It's an irrevocable complex trust. When that type of trust is established, then it has its own tax return for whatever happens inside that trust. So if there is income to that trust, whatever is happening inside that trust, that's what's taxed. And by the way, you can set it up on a deferral basis. So as a result, much of the taxation can be deferred until a later date. And it can be designed so that it passes from generation to generation. So it moves that tax bill into the future, and it can help you to retain a lot of cash that can be used to acquire more assets. Obviously, if you're taking out anywhere from 20 to 50%, depending on what state you're in taxation, and it's going to governmental bodies, that's 50% money that you didn't have to invest that could pay you for the rest of your life. So it's very valuable to learn that taxes can be saved. And I say that the secrets are hidden out in the open. The tax code has many, many, many different benefits in it. Once you're aware of those things, then you can design your life around that tax code and literally put yourself in a position to zero out your taxes. Very valuable thing. That's one of the things that we're going to be teaching at my upcoming event. It's called Maximum Asset Shield, MaximumAssetShield.com. You can learn more about my upcoming 4-day event where we're going to cover everything from soup to nuts. Literally, you bring a deed to class, you bring a title to class, you're going to learn how to actually transfer properties from your name into the trust name so that you can have it reviewed by an attorney. You've got all of the ducks in a row, so to speak. You've had all the thought patterns of who's going to get what, who's going to be the trustee. We're going to go over all the issues related to those things, who to choose as trustee, how to name the trust, what you're going to do with the trust, how you're going to set up your beneficiaries, what assets are going to be in the trust, how do you transfer those assets to the trust, all of those issues, and taxation. We're going to definitely have a master CPA at the class who's in real estate, who understands exactly what we're up to, what to do, how to do it. It's amazing, and it's coming up soon. So I encourage you to look at MaximumAssetShield.com for the latest dates. And definitely there's also a home study course if you want to go that route. So I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Yeah, baby.
Good. All right, number 14. How can trusts be used in estate planning? 5, 4, 3.
So, hi, it's Lou Brown. I've been asked, how can trusts be used for estate planning? Oh my goodness, it's the best thing on the planet. Now, why do I say that? I've been using and studying trusts since 1983. And what I've discovered is there is so much benefits, and so many benefits that most people do not know, including, in this interesting, attorneys and CPAs don't even know the true power of trusts. It's like a hidden secret. And I say that the secrets are hidden out in the open, and they're available for everyone who has knowledge. Knowledge is power. So once you learn that trusts can provide privacy, they can provide protection, they can provide probate avoidance, and they can provide profits. This is an amazing thing that, like I said, most people don't know anything about. So I want to teach those to you directly. We have a home study course. We also have a 4-day live event where I teach you step by step, inch by inch. You literally bring your deed to class. You bring a title to class. You learn how to transfer assets into trust. But more importantly, you learn why trusts, what trusts are, how they work, how to do all the details, identify who the trustee, who the successor trustee, who the beneficiary, who the successor beneficiaries are, and all the different details about how to set up your trust. Literally, this is something you can do yourself. You can have it, once you get it all set up, you can have it reviewed by a local attorney. But once you have that done, you have the peace of mind, because there's many different decisions that have to be made that are not legal decisions. They are detailed decisions about yourself and your life. And so as a result of doing it this way, you have created an amazing estate plan. And that's what we're here to teach you, is the right way to do estate planning that absolutely serves you while you're living and serves your family after you're gone, whomever you choose to get those assets. So I look forward to seeing you. I've got an upcoming event called Maximum Asset Shield. You can see that at MaximumAssetShield.com. And I hope to see you again soon. Yeah, baby.
Good. For a second there, I thought you weren't going to say the URL. He's not stopping, is he? All right. Number 16. How do family trusts work? 5, 4, 3.
Hi, it's Lou Brown. I've been asked, how do family trusts work? Well, typically a family trust, now let's back up. There's about 30 different kinds of trusts out there. So it's important that you're aware that there's many different ways that trust can be viewed, and there's many different benefits you can get from different trusts. So you have to start with what you're actually trying to accomplish. And if you want to create a trust that passes down from generation to generation to generation, then there are a variety of different solutions to that. So you have to start with, what am I trying to accomplish? Now, let's say that you wanted to create a trust that had a spendthrift provision, meaning that if anybody in your family, one of the heirs, for example, were to get a judgment against them or to have issues, all of your hard work, and be able to take those things to satisfy a judgment. Well, if you have a spendthrift provision, that would not be true. In other words, nobody would be able to invade the trust to satisfy any kind of judgment against an individual. And so what happens is you create a non-grantor trust with spendthrift provisions, and then you have it as an irrevocable trust, complex trust, and that has discretion, that the trustee has full discretion, dominion, and control over the trust. Now, you can learn more about that at MaximumAssetShield.com/elite, and that will reveal to you about that type of trust. That might be the right setup for a family trust for you. And certainly there are tremendous tax benefits with that as well. Now, I'm going to be teaching that. That's going to be coming up on a live event that I have, a 4-day training. It's called Millionaire. It's called MaximumAssetShield.com. MaximumAssetShield.com. We're going to be doing in 4 days a complete review of the types of trusts that most of our folks get involved in: land trusts, personal property trusts, living trusts, and the elite trust. So you'll be able to see what fits best in your world. Financially, there can be some tremendous benefits, but if your trust is designed correctly, it's providing privacy, asset protection, probate avoidance, and profits. And certainly all of that is available when I'm teaching you about how you can maximize through MaximumAssetShield.com your entire estate and set it up yourself. So I hope to see you soon. Yeah, baby.
Good. Now, the next two are similar, but we just basically want to have the titles: how do trusts work and how do unit trusts work. So I don't know why.
That's not the other unit trust question that we had before, huh?
No, it's actually just a rewording of the question.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's basically the same question that you had before. But we can't put duplicate videos up, so we have to take a couple minutes and just get you to make a new one.
Okay.
All right. So number 17, how do trusts work? 5, 4, 3.
Hi, it's Lou Brown, and I've been asked, how do trusts work? Now, that's a great question, because the great benefit is that we've got an entity here that most people don't know about. Attorneys, CPAs, they go down a different road. Now, why does somebody need a trust in the first place? Well, usually they're looking for an entity of sorts. Well, there's all kinds of entities. There's LLCs, there's corporations, limited partnerships. There's a whole variety of different entities. So the question would become, what are you trying to accomplish? Now, one of the great things about trusts is that you can set yourself up so that your assets are protected. They're sort of like away from you. They're in another dominion that you have control of or you have influence over inside that trust. However, they're not attached to you. So if anybody got a judgment against you personally, they wouldn't be able to get to those assets. And it has to be set up correctly. And there's some paperwork and there's some provisions that you have to be aware of. That's one of the things I cover at an upcoming event. We've got a 4-day training called Maximum. One of the great things about that training is you get to go inside what you're actually trying to accomplish and bring a deed with you to class, bring a title with you to class, and learn yourself what you're up to. And I call it where the bones are buried, right? You're about to bury all the bones in the backyard. It's a good idea to know and have a map to those bones. And that's exactly what we do at this 4-day training. So you're given an opportunity to kind of review what your estate looks like and then review what you want to have happen in your world. And by the way, this is for people just getting started as well, so that they can learn how to do it the right way. Others have to go backwards and deal with all the assets that they currently have. Either way, we've got all kinds of folks in the room when we're going through that training. So it's important that you learn that trusts have a process. So it's coming, the asset, whatever might be owned, is being transferred from your name, your ownership, into the trust name, the trust ownership. And one of the things I teach is go ahead and further separate your assets so that each asset is in its own name, its own trust. Create insulators for each of your assets so that if anything happens with a particular asset, it cannot infect or affect the rest of the assets that you have. Very important that you think about what the real world is out there. There's an awful lot of people that want to have what you've got, but they don't want to do what you did to get what you got. They only want to have what you got. So we want to put ourselves in a position to isolate, insulate our assets so that we are putting ourselves in a clear path to the money. And I always think about that clear path to the money, right? Protecting your assets. And the more that you're able to retain, the more you're able to invest. So there's also some tax advantages when you look at certain parts of the tax code. There's some great benefits in the tax code. We're going to be teaching that also at Maximum Asset Shield. You can find out more at MaximumAssetShield.com about the live event. There's also a home study course that you can learn about as well. But definitely planning your estate is a very important thing. Doing is even more important. So we could have the intention to do everything, but if you die without that trust in place, just know that your family is going to have to go through that painful, time-consuming, and expensive process called probate. That can be avoided, and the only entity on the planet that can avoid it is trust. So I want you to learn that. It's the most valuable thing you could ever be doing for yourself and for your family going forward. My name's Lou Brown. I look forward to seeing you soon. Yeah, baby.
Good. So one thing I was just thinking is these trusts work just the same in Canada and the UK and Australia, right?
They work similarly. They are established under English common law, and they, in Canada, they have a grant deed. They have a different kind of deeding process of real estate than we do in the States. But generally speaking, because of the fact that they're established under English common law, then yes.
Because I was thinking one thing you could say is, by the way, if you're up in Canada, if you're one of our neighbors up in Canada, then this, and then kind of what you just said, like,
Okay.
Because I just thought, you know, us Canadians might come down and take the course too.
They do. Actually, they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so the next question is, how long can trusts last? Number 19, how long can trusts last?
Did we skip over that unit trusts?
We did. I thought, we don't need to talk about it again.
Okay. All right. So how long do trusts last?
How long can trusts last?
Okay.
5, 4, 3.
Hi, my name's Lou Brown. I've been asked, how long can trusts last? Well, that's an interesting question because it depends on where you establish your trust at. There's different states within the United States that compete against each other to attract your business to come to their state. So one of the things they do is, for example, if you establish your trust in South Dakota, they have something called a perpetual trust, which means it just goes on and on and on. In Alaska, they have a 1,000-year trust. So you can just have it for 1,000 years and then it expires after that. Right. And so various states do various things, but most states establish these under contract law which means that the contract has a 20-year lifespan. So what a trust really is a contract. It's a contract between the trustee and the beneficiary or beneficiaries. And so that contract has a lifespan in most states, 20 years. Now, what's cool about that is you can extend the contract for another 20 years. So you can make a non-perpetual trust into somewhat of a perpetual trust by extending it through that time frame and just continually doing that. And so the answer is, it depends on the state you live in, and it can be extended. Well, I'm going to be teaching you more about this in an upcoming event. It's called Maximum Asset Shield. MaximumAssetShield.com is where you go to learn more about that. There's a home study course there you can do, as well as coming to the 4-day live training where we literally take you soup to nuts through actually transferring properties into trust. First of all, getting your head on straight. Why am I doing this? And then who to choose as trustee, who to choose as successor trustee, who to choose as beneficiary, who to choose as successor beneficiary, where to situs your trust and why, and all the other entities that might be involved, LLC, corporation, limited partnership, that could be beneficiaries of the trust. There's lots to learn, and there's several different types of trusts that can deliver several different types of things. You're going to learn that, as well as you're going to learn about the elite trust, which is the bomb. It's the best trust ever. And so there's different reasons that different people would do different things. And it just depends on what your particular situation is. So I invite you to check us out, MaximumAssetShield.com. And I invite you to come to the live training. Yeah, baby. I hope to see you soon.
No, let me get rid of that. Let's try for a couple more, and then I think that'll be good. How are you? You're doing good?
Yep. Until that phone rings, I'm okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So let's do two more. How many discretionary trusts can I have, and how many NHS trusts are there? I don't know what that even means.
NAS.
H. So NHS. So North Heaven Scott Trust. And
oh God, he's early. Let me just tell him. Bill, my man, hey, I am recording. I've got about 4 more minutes left to finish this recording. If you don't mind, can I ring you right back? You're an awesome person. I appreciate that. I'll be right back with you. Bye-bye.
Oh,
okay.
So I just looked it up. I don't know if we need to do this one. NHS hospitals are managed by acute mental health specialists or community trusts.
I don't know nothing about that.
That's it's English thing. So we will not. No, we won't do that.
No, let's skip that one.
Yeah. I mean, how many people can be asking that question?
I'm wondering why it's on the radar. That's a very unique situation.
Yeah, in England, people maybe ask about that. So how many discretionary, number 20, how many discretionary trusts can I have? 5, 4, 3.
Hi, my name is Lou Brown. I've been asked how many discretionary trusts can I have? Well, it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Now, one of the ways that I deal with that question is I put each asset in a separate trust. You might think to yourself, well, that's going to be expensive, Lou. Well, what if you already had the forms disk and you could create each trust yourself? That's exactly what I do. We already have the paperwork. It's already done. Once you do one as a model, then you can do that duplicatively. So then To have one trust and have multiple things within that trust, to me, is putting all your eggs in one basket, unless it's a very specific kind of trust. So when you're outside of that realm, then the best way to do it is to put each asset in its own trust. And I use something called land trusts, and personal property trusts. Now, land trusts are for real estate, and personal property trusts are for everything else in your life: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, bank accounts, etc. Your vehicles can be in trust. So those allow you to put each asset kind of insulated and isolated from everything else, so that you have, if there's an attack or if there's an issue with one particular asset, it's not going to infect or affect the rest of the assets that you have. And that is the best kind of discretion you can have, right? Is that you would be able to have control over those various assets using this thing called land trust and personal property trust. Now, there is another type of trust that I teach that is a very advanced trust. And for some of you, that would make sense. Now, I'm going to be training that at our upcoming event. It's a 4-day event. It's called MaximumAssetShield.com, MaximumAssetShield.com. You can learn more about that. We're going to go soup to nuts through the entire process of how to set up the trust, what type of trust to use, what type of other entities might be involved: LLCs, corporations, limited partnership. We're going to talk about taxes. Taxes are a big, huge benefit where you can grow your business dramatically using the benefits of taxes, that using the combination of trusts with your knowledge about taxes, man, you can advance your business dramatically. Not only tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and over a lifetime, millions of dollars can be saved simply by understanding the tax code better. So we're going to definitely delve into some things that most CPAs aren't aware of, most attorneys are not aware of, and definitely most financial planners are not aware of. So it's going to be you actually learning it for yourself. Why not turn it over to the professionals? Well, one of the things is that you don't quite understand what's going on. So I suggest that you really understand what's going on when you're going to be burying the bones. And that means burying the bones in the backyard. We got to have a map to all of those different bones. And we got to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and then certainly have it reviewed by an attorney after you do all the understanding work and setting a model trust up. Once you get that approved, boom, 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 boom. From now on, you'll have the autofill software and you can just create the trust yourself. So that's an opportunity for you definitely to come to a training, learn more about what it's all about. And then once you have that understanding, you're really able to advance your business in a remarkable way. MaximumAssetShield.com. Or you can call our number 1-800-578-8580. Love to see you there. Yeah, baby.
Great. And let me just get rid of that. I think that's a good place to stop. And we'll get.
So what's happening with all of these things that we're doing?
They're going to end up on blogs and YouTube channels, our YouTube channel, and hopefully just keep driving people to Maximum Asset.
Has any of these been posted or done yet?
None of the trust ones yet, because I just wanted to wait till after we were.
But other ones have been?
Yeah.
Are we seeing any traffic?
We're seeing some traffic. Yeah, I'll get some stats for you and let you know what the traffic's like.
Okay. And, you know, it strikes me that these, maybe I should have mentioned that they could get the trust thing, because without capturing information, you know, that's a thing. We're putting these things out there, but if there's no way to capture who's visiting, who's getting that information, there's no way to follow up with them. And that's one way we do it, is that they get that free book. So maybe you put a little thing up there, free trust book, and maybe you put a circle behind my head free trust book, see below or something like that. And then that's maximumassetshield.com/book. And then they can download that book. But when they go there, it captures at least some information.
I was basically just going to put Maximum Asset Shield in the description, but I'll put this there. Yeah. And I'll tell Sherry I'll take a copy of the book and tell her to put that in the video as well. Perfect.
Okay.
And
on anything related to the trusts.
Right. That's awesome. Well, that's great. I'm glad you've got this page because that makes it a lot easier. And I had a question, but now I forgot what it was, and it was more a personal interest question than it was having to do with the videos. But I'll get you what the stats are, and I'll let you know when these are up. And so that was what I was going to say is we're going to make a series of emails on all these trust videos that you can be sending out as content emails to your list between now and August.
Great. When is
Yeah.
that going to happen?
Well, we're going to get these up and then we'll start writing the emails.
Okay. And this week, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be doing MJS. If there's any, we're doing, of course, we'll have the live stream through Zoom. If there's any StreamYard stuff you could do from the event, say during the event, something like that, you might want to think about doing that just to get some content out there and some excitement.
Okay, so you're happy to send Millionaire Jumpstart out to the world?
No, not the whole thing. I'm saying like a segment.
Okay.
Like if you said, hey, Lou, I've got this spot open here. Let's do a live stream during this time.
Do you have agenda?
I do. It's the table of contents. Really, it doesn't say what I'm going to cover because, I don't want people to come in and come out and decide what they want to learn from me. And I want to kind of force the whole thing down their throat.
Right. Okay. I'll check into that and see if I can do a live stream from your Zoom.
Now, what we could do maybe is that last segment of Sunday, if that works for you, that's on trusts. And that last segment there is a lot of good content there. Now, it's not like one of my webinars. It's a different kind of content, but
Sure.
It's certainly a good lead in for MAS.
Do you know what time about you'll start?
So that'll be on the West Coast, and I'll start that about probably about 4:30 West Coast time. So that'd be 7:30 your time, I guess. Are you on East Coast with me?
I'm actually Central.
Central. Okay, so it's 2 hours difference.
Yeah, so it'll be 6:30.
Does that work for you?
You bet.
Okay. All right. So let's plan on that. That would be good, actually. And we'll see how many people are online at that time.
Sure. Who manages Zoom for you?
Well, Ron does the broadcasting from the event. And Bruce will be at home in the North Georgia mountains. He'll be on as well. And then Helga will be managing the classroom, the attendees, so to speak.
Okay. I just need to know who to talk to if I'm going to connect to Zoom. So it would be Ron.
Okay.
Great. Cool.
All right.
Have a great event.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Have fun. Keep having fun there in Columbia.
I will.